Process over solution is a big part, especially when you're doing any sort of interviews in companies. There are technical rounds. They literally giving you a problem statement to see your process, the way you think, the way your mind works, because UX researchers are literally getting paid for their mind. How to analyze a UX research problem properly. So the first part is you got to be very curious. Our stakeholders, or even when you go for job interviews, they're going to be asking us multiple questions. And honestly, to be extremely honest, the problem statements are very vague. Problem statements can go from, hey, let's build a product which is edible in nature, like fake non-vegetarian food mart, right? Or do research for an application which can help car owners, or find drivers within a apartment complex. You can also help us build an automated food delivery application. And that's pretty much it. They wouldn't give us any background, any sort of other information. That is something that we kind of have to get from our stakeholders by asking multiple questions. A lot of times, what happens is when we start to do generative research, evaluative, exploratory, whatever, sometimes we lose sight of the problem statement because we get swayed away by different problems that arise, right? So just having that really focused, strong-headed kind of approach where we do not lose sight of the issue or the problem, it just helps your problem even advance to a higher level. So having that all-rounded focus and undivided attention to your problem statement really helps you build the kind of product that you and your team aspire to make. And the third one is collaboration. So think of the teams you would be collaborating with and how they could benefit from your research goals. It's not just UX research team which is getting impacted, right? Because the product requirement could probably be coming from a business team, a marketing team, even from the design team, right? So you got to collaborate everybody to make the product outshine. Again, as I had mentioned before, we are given very unclear problem statements. From building a fake non-vegetarian food mart, it could even go for a automated food delivery application. And these problem statements are very vague, and you kind of have to like ask them a lot of questions in order to get to the part where you can even solve for it. I do want to say one thing. Process over solution is a big part, especially when you're doing any sort of interviews in companies. When you're doing, there are technical rounds. They literally giving you a problem statement to see your process, the way you think, the way your mind works, because UX researchers are literally getting paid for their minds. So they want to be looking at your thought process instead of you coming up with a solution directly. And even that's how it works in a workspace as well. You don't have to give them solution is something that comes from collaboration amongst cross-functional teams. However, you need to have a clear pattern or thought process. Okay, this is something that I'm supposed to do, this is going to be my second step. Have to come up with some solid kind of research plan. So that is something that we're looking for. So the first step, you have to make sure that when you're given a problem, you need to find metadata to help you solve an issue. How do you find metadata? By clarifying context, by asking them multiple questions. This is followed by a lot of examples. So you would be able to see that later as well. Then come up with a UX research methodology. So till the time you do not have a very clear goal as to what exactly you want to pursue, till then you can't be choosing a UX research methodology. Why do you think we need to clarify the context? We need to clarify the context in order to understand the problem statement completely. So here, there are four stakeholders. Karan, for example, is a marketing manager. Shubhi is the VP of the product. John is the business development guy. And Vasudha, myself, I'm a UX researcher. We have a feature that helps find aliens on Earth. We did several explorations. Could you tell me which one should we go ahead with? These are kind of the problem statements that we get. As a UX researcher, what would I be able to find with these many statements? So each time you're given a chance or an opportunity to solve a problem, just make sure that you're asking them tons and tons of questions. So back up your problem statement with supporting data that you find out by asking them. For example, target audience, right? Which socioeconomic class or socioeconomic status they come from, what's their educational background, do they even need the product? The target audience basically tells you that. Background, which stage of the product life cycle is it on? Have we done any research before this, any sort of secondary research, primary research? And we can, gauge a lot from that. Also, solving what problem is the products really solving for you, right? These are kind of the questions that we need to ask. After asking all these questions, that target audience, background, solving what's the goal of doing this research, and so on and so forth, We got this data. So now we know that we have a feature that helps people over 13 years old. So that we got from target audience. What's the age group that we're looking for, right? Find aliens on Earth, specifically around Goa and Area 51 US. We want to prioritize this age group first as they're the most curious about aliens after watching Men in Black. Now we know that what's the motivation behind people wanting to know more about aliens, and how will that help people who want to come strictly into the alien arena and think about it. We want to make sure that the design is easy to use and the aliens are easily discoverable on the feature. We have two designs and we want to make sure that the search bar is easily visible to the users. So now if you see, there's a huge difference between this problem statement getting from the stakeholders and this one what we got. Huge difference. And this would help me more in building a research plan for them. Now I know what kind of age group are they trying to target on. Now I know what kind of areas are they trying to target on, what's their location purpose, what's the motivation, why are they wanting to do this kind of study. Now I know what exactly do they want to be looking at two designs and comparing those. And then, having taken all these things into consideration, time to pick a UX research method.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed the video, do let us know by liking the video or dropping a comment below. If you're wondering how to choose the right UX method, we have linked a video for you right here. Also, if you keep checking out design related content, do subscribe to our channel.